Here's an architect who's into interiors. He believes that architecture is not just about exteriors but about interiors as well. He focuses mainly on corporate interiors and he believes in minimalistic architecture, straight lines and, well, why don't we let you find out for yourself.
Architect Ninad Tipnis runs his firm by the name JTCPL Interiors. It is an ISO 9001 certified company, a merit granted to few architects in the country. This particular project is the office of a South African company, Sasol, which is a world leader in synthetic petroleum production. It has been functional for barely a month and was ready in 52 days flat. Speed, in fact, Ninad asserts, is what contributes to the biggest thrill in his work.
I am a qualified architect and I have an experience of close to 14 years. Since my father was an architect, it sort of eased my decision because I saw him as a young boy and I saw the glamour which was associated with the field of architecture because he is a successful architect and I saw the plethora of projects he has catered to and what he has handled. So that is what got me interested in architecture to begin with. So I started my stint in architecture with him, and then as the years went by, I realized that I have a liking towards interiors because when you look at interiors and corporate interiors, especially, there is speed associated with these projects. That is what gives me a kick, so I decided to venture into corporate interiors, and after 5 years, I can safely say it's not a bad bet.
Ninad believes that architecture is an internal affair and not just what is commonly believed to be an exterior one.
I refuse to accept that architecture only exists in the exteriors. There has to be architecture within as well. So whatever we evolve within these four walls is also architecture, and thereby I would like to call it interior architecture.
Amongst other things, the aesthetics of this office space have been taken care of in great detail.
Aesthetics is a very tricky issue in corporate architecture. So you typically decide your aesthetics depending on the company you are catering to. So what may be over the top for a corporate like Sasol will be very conservative for a call center setup we do, So for Sasol, what we have done is we've used straight lines, rigid geometry, and we have some variation in spaces which they call think space.
Think space is this particular section of the office. There are 2 of them in all. It is a space the employees use for recreation without having to evacuate the office. So they read, drink and in more colloquial terms, just chill out and recuperate before getting back to work. One observes geometry here, circles and wooden slabs too. One also observes sudden bursts of color here as well as in other areas of the office space, which break the monotony of the more somber tones.
That's right. We've tried to use several colors which are in line with the global branding, and blue being one of the parent colors of Sasol, we've used blue in various places and in using various material. So you have blue wallpaper, you have blue laminate, you have blue fabric, you have blue vinyl. So that's what we've done with blue. And otherwise we have shades of maple everywhere, which is a subtle substrate in itself. Other than that, we've used two-tone paint in a very subtle way on the walls. So none of the walls are painted plain flat white. We've used a subtle two-tone of grey and white, which adds a bit of interest.
This wall in the cafeteria is another juncture that provides vibrancy. It is a display graphic that the architect designed, got painted in vinyl and pasted onto the wall. And if the bright spurts of color and think spaces aren't enough to rejuvenate the employees, the designers have also incorporated another option, a gym. It's no doubt then that employees are pleased with this space, and the bosses too seem impressed.
I think what stands out for me, I've been in quite a few of the offices, is the lighting. I think the lighting is it's very bright, and it's important to me. So that, I think, stands out, the lighting. I think it's also fairly, the design of the conference room, I think it's one of the best.
The second project we're about to explore is a medical spa. The first of its kind concept in India, it is a comprehensive medical, dental and cosmetic center. Now, while this project sounds poles apart from the previous project, you'll notice it's actually quite similar in terms of the same straight lines and geometry. Let's take a look.
The reception area is perhaps the brightest and the most attractive part of the entire space. It houses interesting objects like this mini fish tank and this interesting looking clock.
When Singapore-based Pacific Healthcare Holdings approached us through Dr. Abhijit Desai, who heads them in the country, we took it up as a challenge because we typically don't do spaces other than corporate offices and bank branches. So we wanted to challenge our creativity. We wanted to again reinforce the belief that we are architects, come what may. Whichever project comes our way, we can render it the right way. So in a way, it was our statement to the fraternity that yes, we can do these things, but we choose to focus on our sector of liking. So coming back to Pacific, Dr. Abhijit and William Chong had a particular vision in their mind, and they wanted to set up multiple centers pan-India, and they approached us to evolve the first flagship center in the heart of the city, which is at Birla. Again, straight lines is something, if given a choice, I always prefer to use minimalistic architecture and straight lines, which is what I've tried to use in Pacific.
There is a staircase leading up from the reception area to the dental rooms. What catches one's attention is the matching upholstery and walls.
So that is how you see these rooms, which look formal, which have a gridded ceiling, which have subtle walls, and which just have a dash of color by way of wallpaper, which we have used. And again, each room is thematic in nature. So you have the tangerine room, you have the white room, you have the green room, and we've tried to coordinate the color of the wallpaper and the upholstery on the dental chair. I would like to believe I don't have a signature style, but subconsciously certain elements do find themselves in different projects. In my case, I would say niches are something which I am tempted to use everywhere, and you'll find niches in most of my projects in different ways.
Well, that's just about all we have for you on the show this week. We'd love to get your feedback and suggestions, so do write in to us at hotproperty@ndtv.com, or you can SMS us at 56388. Until next week then, from the entire crew of Hot Property, goodbye and thank you for watching.